My brother Gary V says that the world needs more perspective, and I couldn't agree more. There's a technique that I created for myself whenever I would experience materialistic loss to help me get through that, to help me cultivate that perspective, to get me out of that hypnotic slumber that the event brought me into. And recently, my friend lost six figures, 120,000, because his crypto wallet got hacked into. So I shared this process with him, but I also shared this process with individuals in a therapeutic space when it was relevant. And now I'm ready to share this process with you. I don't have a name for it yet. Actually, I kind of do. I call it my most invaluable assets. Because sometimes we don't have an awareness of our most invaluable assets. And we're about to recultivate that awareness. So if I were to ask you, how much money would you trade your right thumb for? Now you might first think, oh, there's no amount of money, I need my right thumb. But there's probably a figure out there, a number figure of money that you would trade your right thumb for. What is that? Is it 20 million? Is that how much you would need for that painless removal of your right thumb and to sacrifice it? Is it 800 million, 200 million, 3 billion? How much is your right thumb worth? What's the minimum amount that you would accept for it? And if you have a piece of paper, either physically or in your mind, I want you to write on the top of the piece of paper, my most invaluable assets, and then write whatever figure you chose. So for me, I'm going to say I need at least 900 million for my right thumb. I'm going to write 900 million greater than or equal to right thumb. Cool. How about, let's move on from limbs. How about your ability to walk? Now keep in mind, a portion of the population does not have the ability to walk. What money figure would you attach to your ability to walk? What would you sacrifice your ability to walk for? How much bread? Are we in the billions at this point? 2 billion? Would you trade that for your ability to walk? 20 billion? Now, if you really can't commit to a figure, I mean, even 3 trillion, come on, you should be able to pick a figure, right? But if you really can't, just write an infinity sign, knowing that there's no amount of money in the world. But, come on, be real. With certain things, there is an amount of money. How about your sense of sight? That's a big one. How much money would you trade that for? Write that down. Now, I want you to pick a few things of your own. Like, you kind of get where I'm going. How much is your right leg worth? How much is your nose worth? How much is your best friend worth? If you were able to sacrifice your best friend. How about some of your family members? How much are they worth? How much money? You could write down these assets and the money figures that they equate to. Build a list. Build a list of like 15 things. Your hair. If you were to trade your ability to grow any hair. I mean, I actually don't really care. Like, I wouldn't mind if I had to trade that. I would probably take actually, I don't know if I'd want to give that up. I'd have to take 200 million to no longer be able to have hair grow on my head. I've been shaving it off, but I still like the ability to have hair grow. So build on that list. Now look at your list. This is a list of things that you currently possess and what you say is the true value of them. And these are your honest answers. You honestly answered how much you would trade your right thumb for. I hope you didn't say $50. Because dang, what? Your right thumb, if you still have it, inherently, if you possess it, and there are people out there that don't, we just recultivated the awareness that is worth quite a lot. So let me ask you this. What is your actual net worth? If you were to take in all of these invaluable assets that you just calculated. Because when my friend lost 6 figures, he said, that was half of my net worth. And I was like, are you sure that was half of your net worth? Because according to this list of invaluable assets, your net worth was way higher than you initially calculated. Is your net worth just what your checking accounts add up to? Your capitalistic assets? Is that really your net worth? So it looks like we're looking at a great issue in regards to the way that we have been conditioned as humans. We seem to be very hypnotized into attributing actual value to things based on the money figures attached to them. We don't go into Best Buy and see our right thumb on the shelves with a price tag on it. If we walked into stores and saw right thumbs for sale for $80 million, then we would probably slowly become conditioned to realize that we have $80 million on our hands. But we're not conditioned that way. We're conditioned to not give a damn that we have all these invaluable assets. And we're conditioned to stress over that $20 bill that we lost. And waking up from that hypnotic slumber of conditioning, even if it's just for these few minutes of this video, when we remind ourselves how much all of these fingers are worth, how much the simple ability to walk is worth, the ability to hear and see is worth. If I could wake up from that slumber and be truly appreciative of my most invaluable assets, even if it's just for a moment, then that was one more moment where I didn't live in some delusive vantage point of not being able to see how grateful I really should have been for the people in my life, for the functions of my being. They say your net worth is your net work. Hey, that rhymes, that sounds good, but your net worth is actually even beyond your net work. It's the fingers on your hand. It's the nose on your face. It's your ability to see. How much is that worth? How much would you trade your ability to see for? I hope you don't even put a price on that. If it was you alone on a private island with no civilization, you would realize that you couldn't eat your money. Cheers, y'all.